Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today we're going to discuss two things. The survey that Gremory just released, and should you or should you not roll for Lil Witch Su. But before we start, don't forget to leave a like, share and subscribe if you enjoy the content. So very quickly, let's go to the survey because, well, I'm not going to show you the survey, but it is actually not that impressive. But at least they are showing interest in the players' opinions, which I like. So basically the survey has two questions, and the questions are: which was your favorite update, and what kind of things do you want to see in the game? Basically those are the questions. So for the update, it might be a hassle to be specific. If you want to check the news and check the date, that would be very helpful for them so that they know what we like. In my case, it was the special activities update when we get the base enhanced. That's one of my favorite. So be sure to tell them which was your favorite and why, so that they promote those changes, so that they work on something similar. So that's one thing. The other one is the activities, or well, the kind of content that you want to see into the game. So in my case, I added a very small list of things that I would like them to add into the game. For example, a labyrinth mode. I would love a labyrinth mode where we can progress through different blocks and we take choices so that we go to different places, face different things, and in the end get some kind of reward as we progress, or as far as we progress. Also rates. I mean, rates is not that impressive and it shouldn't be that complex considering they already stated that they want to do the rates due to the club system. Also, I mentioned customizable challenges. I play Arnice, and they have this mode, or well, they used to have this mode, which was contingency contract. And there you could select. Well, we still have it, but it's different. But anyways, we have had the ability to select certain debuffs. Let's call it debuffs for the player, and that would incentivize to use resources in very specific ways. In this game, it could be implemented super easily. Let's say that you take two debuffs, so that 4 debuffs. You cannot use protect, suppress, machine, or demon. That leaves you with assist human type characters. So you would get points based on that, and or better rewards based on that. You could also add other kinds of debuffs, like melee attacks get reduced damage, and then you go with Tokiko. And particle charge is nullified, or ultimate damage is reduced. And then you, rather than going with ultimate, if you don't take the particles, but you do take the ultimate damage reduce, you could go with weapon actives or something like that. Being able to customize the challenges ourselves would incentivize players to have a very big roster, as well as getting as many weapons as possible and supporters, and that would allow us to use all these combinations in very different ways and actually use those niche strategies which aren't that popular, but we could use them as long as you're able to clear the content. Why not go with a weapon active build, or maybe with a ultimate build, maybe with something that we have never tried? That would be pretty good in my opinion. I hope that at some point Gremory does a customizable challenge. That would be the best. But in any case, the last thing that I asked them was to add the event story gallery, a place where we can check all the story events that had been into the game. I mean, they mention like two Christmas ago that they wanted to add that mode and they haven't done anything about that, which is odd. We do need a story gallery for sure, so I hope they add it. Those were the things that I put into my survey. If you want something else, if you have any other good ideas, let me know in the comments. We can actually change the answer of the survey, so we have to be quick, guys. We have to share our ideas and vote for the things that we actually want. If there's anything that you like about what I said, be sure to add it in your own survey. So yeah, it is a pretty basic survey. It doesn't have that many questions, but they are interested in what we want, and I hope they listen. So yeah, that's one thing. And now, talking about Witch Su. Should you roll for her, should you not? Well, what does she do, first of all? Reduces damage taken from demon type enemies by 12% and up to 24%. Increases damage dealt to human type enemies by 12% and up to 24%. So, offensive, it's gonna be offensive against humans and defensive against demons, but it isn't the biggest damage ever. That's something to take into consideration, or damage reduction. You get more mileage out of other supporters. But, to say the truth, we don't care that much about the main effect, just like with White Feather Asuka. We care about the extra passive on the actives. So, during melee attacks, has a 25% chance to increase the duration of one debuff on the target for 1 second. Seconds. It can be up to 2 seconds. So, you want to equip this basically to Momochi Nagi. With Momochi Nagi, you're gonna be able to keep those debuffs permanently. And let's read the active just cause. Spews flames that deals damage and reduce the target's damage dealt by 30%. I'll admit, this debuff is not that bad. Unfortunately, it doesn't say the duration. It is not permanent, but it is a substantial amount of damage reduction. Keep that in mind. So if you want to use it, it's not bad, but usually you're gonna use this to abuse certain debuffs. For example, you can use this on a super slow strategy. I have shown videos on the super slow strategy, and super slow strategy rely on having tons of sources of speed reduction, and what you're gonna do is just stack them, and you're gonna use another melee attacker like Momochi Nage with Witch Su to prolong some of those buffs. That's not the best idea, but it works. Why is it not the best idea? Witch Su likes to afflict, to prolong the duration of enemies afflicted by one debuff. She doesn't like to do that with enemies afflicted with multiple debuffs. This strategy, the super slow, works with multiple instances of speed reduction, but as I mentioned, you have so many sources that it's doable, even if it's not the most proficient thing to do with this supporter. The most proficient thing to do with this supporter is to use it with Oboro's mind control. So you can use it on any color, but the premier color for mind control is gonna be red. So let's see. Mind control 3 seconds in blue, mind control 5 seconds on red, 3 seconds, enemies mind up to for 5 seconds, duration, increased duration by 3 seconds. Yeah, this is 8 seconds, but it's a perfect touch. That's the only disadvantage. Even so, going red with the Oboro is preferably your best choice if you want to abuse Lil Witch Su. Are these the only debuffs that I can abuse with Lil Witch Su? No, technically you can actually use it for any kind of debuff, but what kind of benefit? No. What kind of benefit do you get from each kind of debuff? Let's see. So, very quickly, let's just focus on the ones that you actually do want. So bleed, poison ball. The damaged ones you do not want to extend their duration for the most part. Like poison and bleed, I guess, but burn you want it to end so that you can proc it. Let's see. Disarm. Disarm is another very important debuff that you want to extend. And there's definitely disarm strategies with supporters actives, with uh, I was going to say with Inage. Inage disarms, but Inage's disarm is tied to the skill itself, so the duration cannot be extended, which is unfortunate. Um, Takeover from Saika is a skill that disarms, but it's a perfect dodge. So it's impossible, or well, it is very hard to keep it up all the time. So keep that in mind. Let's see. Mark is another debuff that you want to extend if you're using Felicia, but if she's in blue with a blue build, she can keep the mark by herself. She doesn't really need the extension. Let's see. Basically, those are the ones that you want to prolong. Disarm, speed reduction, and mind control. Those three are the ones that you want to prolong. So, now, is this strategy still effective? Is the debuff extension really viable? Well, for that we're gonna go to the monster section and we're gonna check the bosses. So, basically the most difficult bosses are the ones from VR. The first one is gonna be Taimanin. Super vulnerable to Lil Witch Su. As simple as that. With super slow, with mind control, it is just too easy. Too easy to do this. It is the most abusable one, so be sure to get at least one copy. Then, we have LWS Squad. This one is a little bit more complex because there are 3 enemies at the same time. There's instances where you're going to get all the enemies together, and if you have a melee attacker with some kind of a spin attack, a Beyblade attack, like Murasaki, like Oboro on blue, like let's say, who else? Who else has a spin attack? I don't remember other characters, but there are some other characters that have spin attacks. Sakura, for example, has a spin attack. If you equip that character who makes a spin attack with Lil Witch Su, and they are under mind control, they're gonna extend that duration, all of them, as long as they are being hit by the spin attack. So this one is a little bit less reliable because sometimes you're gonna mind control too, and one is gonna get out and it's gonna knock you, then it's gonna interrupt you, and then the other ones might get out, but then Oboro mind controls other two. So not the most reliable thing, but you can do it for sure. Queen Arachne. It is doable for sure, but she has the duration of debuffs reduced, so sometimes it will work, sometimes it won't, because after all, this is a chance-based effect, the extended debuff duration. Keep that in mind. So with a little bit of luck, you can do it, and most likely you will. It's not unreliable. It can fail with this specific boss. Then, Queen Kanaloa. Queen Kanaloa is another excellent target for Oboro. Not as good for the super slow strategy, but excellent for Oboro because you want to stop Queen Kanaloa from activating its invincibility, and if it's under mind control, it's not going to activate its invincibility, so you're going to win. This boss is not as difficult if it doesn't activate their invincibility. If you are facing Queen Kanaloa, you might as well equip someone else with either we have 2 options here. You can equip it with either Heaviko, blue Heaviko, because blue Heaviko removes buffs with the active, or you can equip Core Phantasma so that she removes the debuffs, the buffs, the invincibility buffs, so that you're able to keep hitting the enemy with your Lil Witch Su after inflicting mind control. So yeah, it is definitely important, but for the most part, you're going to be fine against this one as long as you land the first mind control and you keep it up. But there might be some instances where it releases it releases from the mind control, and then you have to use the it uses its invincibility, and you have to use the buff removal. That's why I mentioned those two supporters. It is rare, but it happens sometimes. Lastly, we have Ingrid. Ingrid is the one boss which I do not recommend you use this strategy. Natural mind control can be used as long as your Oboro is already a great DPS. If not, I wouldn't recommend going with debuff strategies. So, overall, you have five BR bosses, and from those 5, only one is kinda immune, or well, this strategy is unreliable. So you get a ton of value if you buy, or well, if you get the supporter, because we don't have a pack to buy this one. So should you get it? Yes. How many copies? Okay, let's be real. 1 copy is gonna work fine. 2 copies gives more consistency. Keep those 2 copies separated. It gives you more consistency, but it is okay if you have only 1. More copies than that, it is great. It is excellent if you're lucky enough, if you can commit to it, because you're gonna get more damage for humans and more damage reduction for demons. But at least you want 2 copies separated. The S level, it's another matter at the end. So let me show you mine. Do I have my Witch Sus over here? Yeah, I have 2. I have my 5 out of 5 Witch Su. I mean, I got like 2 copies. One in the original run, another one in the rerun. No, another one by exchange facility, and then I roll until I hit pity, and I was able to manage the rest. So basically, this is pretty effective, and that's why I add the stats, because sometimes things might get out of hand and you want to be extra safe. But trust me, if you have these 2 S level 1, that's fine. Another important thing to take into consideration is that the Shop of the Sires offers 1 copy of Lil Witch Su. If you want to go with that one, that's more than enough. I mean, instead of rolling, just grab it from here. But also there's Massacre Kurenai, so that might be a little bit hard. I hope that you save those desire points from the campaign. So yeah, you want this one from here, if possible, instead of rolling, because most of us spend our coins on the previous week with the desire campaign. So yeah, that's the thing. Let's see. Basically, that's it, guys. It is still worth it to get the supporter, but there's one boss which won't be afflicted by this strategy. So keep that in mind. So, what do you think about it, guys? Do you think it's worth it? Do you think you're gonna get it? Do you think it's a good investment? For me, it's definitely great. I have used this time and again. I usually don't use it against Queen Arachne, but against Obor, against not Obor, against Mass Taimanin, against the LWS squad, against Queen Kanaloa, I have used Witch Su at least a couple times. Uh, with Mass Taimanin, it's always not a couple times, but yeah, it's definitely a good option to have in your inventory. So that's gonna be about it for today. Let me know in the comments what you think about this supporter, if you're gonna roll. If you have any other ideas for this survey, something that you want to recommend and you want to share with everyone. And that's gonna be it. I'll be seeing you next time. Bye.